Hey everybody. In this video, I'm going to show you just about everything you need to know to be able to complete Java challenge set number 1. I'll start off by making a new project, and I'm going to call it challenge set 1, because why not? And then normally I would connect the assignment or the project to GitHub, but because I've already shown you how to do that, I'm not going to take time doing that again. So I will just go down to source, right click it, go to new, and class, because we need a class for everything we do. And I'm going to call that challenge set 1 as well. Now, why did I call it that? Well, if I look at the project assignment, I tell you what the class name should be. It should be challenge set 1. How about that? So do check through here and make sure that you do the things I tell you to do. For instance, I will tell you that one of your methods should be called pounds_convert for number 1. I tell you that for number 2, the method should be called USD_convert. For number 3, I tell you one method should be called MPG_convert, and another one should be MPG_convert_display, etc., etc. I actually tell you how I'm grading the assignment down at the bottom, and you'll see that did you follow the specific instructions for the problem, including method names, is 20% of your grade. So you should do that. Anyway, I'm going to name it challenge set 1 as is required, and I'm going to check mark that I want to create a main method, because you need one of those in your assignment. So let's do that. And here I've got a brand new class called challenge set 1 with the main method that is empty right now. Straight off, I know that we need to create a constructor. The constructor kind of sets up the class so that the stuff inside will run. Let's just say that for right now. And I'll just say public challenge set 1. The constructor is going to have the exact same name as the class name. So if the class is challenge set 1 with capital C, capital S, capital O, then you need to do that as well. All classes need to start with a capital letter, and then every subsequent word in the class name needs to have a capital letter too. That's called camel case, because it goes, up, down, up, down, up, down, like a camel's humps. Once I've got that constructor in, I go to the main method and I say I want a new challenge set 1. And what this does, the main method is the part of the class that always runs first, straight off the bat, automatically. So it's going to run whatever's in here, and I say I want a new challenge set 1. And then from here, if I want to, I can, it goes to my constructor, and it will do whatever my constructor tells it to do. So for instance, if I had a method here called public static void, let's call my method test method for right now. I could call it from here, test method. And calling it just means making it run, right? So this says go down and find this and do whatever's inside there. This says, okay, I just want to run this, and this would make something happen in here. If I had 5 methods, I could call all 5 of those methods from this place if they all existed. Anyway, let's start off by going over variables and data types. There are a few different types of data in Java that you'll be using. One of them is a Boolean. A Boolean is just true or false. So it's either true or it's false. It's pretty simple. Sometimes you'll have a piece of data that it's got to be either one thing or the other. Did you win or did you lose? Or is it, a true or false question, right? It's got to be either true or false. So a Boolean is one data type, and my variable name is going to be lowercase, just like my method name. You'll notice methods are always lowercase. Only the constructor and the class should have capital letters at the beginning. So let's call my Boolean like true, false, right? So notice I put the semicolon at the end of every line. You guys are going to get the hang of this, but it's really annoying at first. You leave the semicolon off and it tells you, yeah, you need to have a semicolon at the end of your line. So what this does is it says, this is the type of data that this variable is going to be, and this is the name of my variable. Now, you can actually, let's move on to the next data type. Integers, those are whole numbers between, infinity and infinity. I'll call my int number 1. And if I want to, I can have a number here, the number 1, but I can't have a digit, a numerical digit at the beginning of my method or my variable name. Now, I can actually assign a value to this variable straight off the bat. So let's say I want to guess someone's age. I could say, why don't I say to start with the age is 200? So it's not a valid value. Nobody lives to 200 years old. So I'll just say age is 200, and then when somebody guesses the age, they will overwrite that value with something different. If you don't enter a value for an integer, it just automatically equals 0. So doing this is the same thing as doing that. There are strings. Strings are combinations of alphanumeric digits. So for instance, that's a kind of fancy way of saying it's like words and numbers mashed together. So you'll notice that this has a capital S, string has a capital S. What that should be telling you is that a string type data is a class itself. I know that's a little confusing right now, so I'll just leave it at that. But strings have to have a capital S. Most of the other data that you deal with at first is going to be lowercase. It's called, this is more complex data for reasons we'll get into later. Anyway, let's call my string greeting, and I'll say, hello there, how are you? And then I'll put a semicolon at the end. Strings need to be inside of quotes. If I don't put a string in quotes, then it's going to assume that all of these are variables. See, hello cannot be resolved to a variable, and I could create some sort of variable called hello if I wanted to. If I put it in quotes, it says, yes, this is a string. Now, let's say I want to print out my string. The whole thing, as I mentioned last time, is system.out.println, and that would print something to the console. If I print yo here, and I go up here to the little run button, and I click run, and I'll just say I always want to save resources before launching. Hey, look, yo appears on the screen. Now, if I want to print whatever value is in the variable greeting, because remember, greeting actually has this value in there, I can print greeting, sysout.println, greeting, and it should print hello there, how are you? Because that is the value. Oops, I should do you. That's the value that's stored in the variable right now. So if you want to print what's inside of a variable, you do it without quotes. If you want to print something in particular, just type out, you say like hello and put that in quotes. So just remember, without quotes, it'll think it's a variable. With quotes, it's just a string. Other useful data types for you this time around, double. A double is a number that can have decimal places. So like double weight, I could make it 181.59 pounds. And that's a valid value for a double. If I were to change that to an int, you would see it says that's not an integer. See, it says I'm trying to convert this data from a double to an int, and that's not working. And there's ways to get around that, which I can show you. Actually, I'll show you. So let's say, skip it. I'll do it later. So we've got this double here with the value. Let's say I want to, I don't know, add to that number. Well, I can say weight equals weight plus 10. So what that would do is it's saying, okay, this variable over here on the left side of the equal sign is going to be equal to whatever the old value is, which was 181.59, plus 10. So if I sysout control space and print out the value for weight, what we should see is 191.59 if I run it. Hey, look at that, that worked. You can do that with all of the different sorts of operators. You can do weight plus 10, weight times 10, weight minus 10, weight divided by 10. And actually there's the modulus operator, which we went over last year, but I don't think we need to do that right now. So let's just say these are the different sorts of operations that you can do on numbers. Let's stop here and I'll go on to the next thing in the next video.